Have you ever had this sense that you have special abilities? That you can read the room, other people's energy, or know things before they happen? Your senses are sharp, almost as if you can see, feel, and hear things in a way that others cannot. Sort of like there's this divine energy pulsing through your veins. You're not imagining it. Something inside of you is awakening. A cellular transformation, a remembering. Your spiritual gifts are coming online. You might be wondering what this means or why this is happening to you. Maybe you feel confused about how to use these gifts or how to explain them to others. I've been there too, and I know how disorienting that can be. It is my hope that this episode will bring you some comfort and guidance, a reassurance that there are others like you out there. Your gifts are not strange or abnormal. They are a reflection of your connection to all that is. Welcome back. My name is April, and I'm a spiritual mentor and awakening guide. I've been called to share this series as a way to give voice to what many experience, but few ever talk about. What happens behind the scenes when a person undergoes a spiritual awakening? My intention is simple, that something in my story can help you make sense of your own. In today's episode, I'll be sharing how I learned to channel and use my spiritual abilities. Let's see where this message leads. For most of my life, I just felt different. I could see and sense things that others around me could not. I was highly intuitive, highly sensitive, creative, and extremely empathetic. I learned to read patterns, to read moods, and to scan my environment. I loved animals, I loved nature, and I always felt this loving presence with me, either God or my angels, or something bigger than everyday life. Deep inside, I knew that I was here for something more. Skip ahead to 2023, 3 years into my spiritual awakening. Not only was this feeling confirmed, but it was magnified in a powerful way. My spiritual gifts started opening up in unimaginable ways. Now, in this video, I won't have time to tell you about all of the things that I did leading up to this point that helped open up my energy centers, my consciousness, and my awareness. But if you are really curious, I invite you to check out my previous video that I did on this topic entitled Being a Divine Channel, How to Power Up Your Spiritual Gifts. Today, I want to focus on what I started noticing and experiencing as these gifts came online, and later how I learned to use them. In sharing this, I want to remind you that the way that my gifts come through may not be the way that yours or someone else's gifts work. Each person's abilities are very unique, and they are meant to be. First, let's talk about the gift of sight. Clairvoyance, as it is known in spiritual circles, vision or insight, as it may be referred to in religious circles. A seer, a sage, someone who has the ability to use their third eye, their perception, and their awareness to pull messages from the ethers by reading people and patterns. In 2023, as I mentioned, this gift exploded for me. Almost as if I was wearing special glasses. I could see everything in my surroundings that was trying to communicate with me from the spiritual realm. Angel messages and numbers and spirit animals, billboard signs, and just little things around me that were speaking to me. I was having visions and prophetic dreams. I was starting to see predictions of the future, things that had never happened to me before. While I had always had this gift of sight, I had reached a point in my awakening where something had unlocked inside of me. A spiritual door had opened, you might say. All of the work that I had done prior to this to clear my emotional blockages and energetic blockages in my body had helped me to open the channels to receive this divine guidance and to sharpen this gift. It was like everything was in hyper focus. I started seeing future events in my mind's eye and other movies or images playing out and noticing patterns all around me like a Jedi master. The best way I can describe it, as I said, was that I had put on magic glasses, kind of like the glasses that the Terminator wears in the movie, where he can see everything in his environment and he can scan his environment and receive special stats on people and things around him. That's what it felt like. And unless you have this gift and you have personally experienced it, there really is no way to describe it. Next came the gift of knowing. Claircognizance, or precognition, as the spiritual community refers to it, or gnosis, as the religious community might call it. It is basically wisdom and insight that comes from a deep place within you, an unknown source that is connected to the divine. This gift of knowing also came online. I started getting downloads and messages in my sleep. I'd wake up in the middle of the night and I'd have to get up and write down what was coming through to me. I'd be driving down the street and all of a sudden would receive this message in this internal place inside of me. One time I heard this message that said, "Find the others." It was loud, "Find the others." And I knew exactly what it meant. I was being called to bring other people like me together in community, to form a place where we could learn together and grow together and support one another. So based on this inner knowing that I had and what God was calling me to do, I started hosting these monthly gatherings in my community where other awakened souls like me could get together and learn about different topics and connect with one another. And this grew into one of the most beautiful, amazing communities that I have ever been a part of, and it is still going to this day. Another time in my sleep, I heard the message, "When it is time for God's children to move, He will tell them. He will make it so clear that there is no doubt." These types of downloads and messages started to come through on a daily basis. And sometimes I would write them down or sometimes I would record them on my phone. But they started coming through so regularly that I knew that there was a reason why I was receiving this information. This is how my ability to channel started. My crown chakra was wide open and I was pulling down information from the spiritual realm into this physical 3D reality. Basically, my higher self had turned into a satellite receiver. It wasn't long before these 1 or 2 line messages started converting into full-length sonnets, well-crafted messages including specific information on specific topics that just seemed to flow down into my awareness. Some of them I turned into TikTok videos, others I turned into art, some into poetry and live teachings, and others into YouTube videos like this one. The best way that I can describe channeling is that it is divine wisdom and intelligence flowing through you that is meant to be shared back out into the collective. Sometimes this information is meant just for you. The only way you will know is after you have had practice in channeling for a while. You will be given this awareness. You will know by the feeling that you get inside if you have this inner urgency, almost as if something is pushing you to speak and you can't keep your throat chakra closed even if you want to. Let me give you one real life example of when this happened to me. I was connected to this friend in Canada, and this friend was pretty spiritually aware. And this was the first time that this had happened to me. The more that I spoke with him and got to know him and our energies connected, and this was all long distance, the more I started to receive these messages. And one of the times I received a message that was a teaching, and it was a visual. It was a teaching that was meant for him. And I was being guided to share it as a way to teach him how to access his own gifts and the next level in his evolution. And this vision was so specific and so clear that I couldn't have made it up myself. I actually converted this into a YouTube video if you want to check it out. And I did some other live teachings on it as well about the fifth dimension and what beings exist there. And I even include the visual that I was shown in my mind's eye. Then with the same person, I also started receiving these messages for him about what he needed to do to clear certain emotional blocks. I could see in his energetic field where the blockages were, which chakras were blocked, and what emotional wounds had caused the blockages. And then I was even shown how to heal that. Finally, I was given a very specific message to deliver to him about what was coming in the future so that he would be prepared. These were all very specific channeled messages that were meant for one person. And after this happened to me once, it started happening with other people as well. As I learned to trust in my abilities and use them more and more, it was like other layers of new understanding were pulled back until eventually using my spiritual abilities became so second nature that it was almost like riding a bike or driving a car. I share this with you today not as a comparison, but as a confirmation that what you are experiencing is real. In the spiritual realm, there is no comparison. Each person on earth is like a specially crafted puzzle piece with its own shape and characteristics. No one else carries the exact design or blueprint as you, and no one else is here to play the role that you are here to play. Your unique wisdom and gifts have a special place in the bigger picture, and they are meant to fill a specific gap. Light workers are not here to compete with one another. We are here to complement, to multiply, not to divide. As you learn to use your spiritual abilities and step into the role that you came here to fulfill, it will no longer feel strange or weird. You will begin trusting in your own senses. It will feel natural to you, like remembering who you have always been. Despite what others may say, having spiritual abilities is not creepy or dark, and they are nothing to fear. They are your natural state of being and a reflection of your connection to the divine. When your inner state is calm and centered, and when you begin to embody your godlike nature, these gifts don't have to be forced. They arise. If we look at Jesus as an example, he had spiritual abilities. Jesus had intuitive knowing, soul gifts, and so did many other saints, prophets, and ascended masters. Why? Because they were tapped in. They were one with God. They embodied their highest, most authentic selves, and they allowed the divine to move through them. What they did was not supernatural. It was alignment. And that same potential exists within inside of you. It is not something you chase. It is something you return to. The more you trust, the more you open, the more you allow, the clearer the path becomes. The very purpose for which you were created will rise up inside of you, like a quiet inner knowing that you can no longer ignore. And the gifts that you need to fulfill this purpose will reveal themselves step by step. Trust in these gifts and protect them, for they were instilled with you with care and precision to awaken the part of you that remembers why you are here. In the days and months ahead, special souls like you will be called forth to use their gifts for the greater good, to teach, to lead, to heal, to create, to build a better world. Not through force, but through presence. Not by becoming someone else, but by fully embodying who you already are. And as this calling becomes louder, trust that this is your soul speaking, leading you toward a future that you remembered before you came. Thank you for joining me today. I hope that something in this episode helped affirm your experiences or possibly prepare you for what is to come. It is my honor to walk this path with you. If you would like extra guidance or support on how to develop your spiritual abilities, I am here to assist. I offer one-on-one sessions as well as a self-paced course to help you process and go deeper. In these sessions, we will work together to uncover any challenges or blocks you may be experiencing from fully using your gifts, and then pinpoint specific tools and methods you can use to overcome them. All of the links can be found down below. Stay tuned for the final episode in this series, where I will be sharing my encounters with NPCs, glitches in the Matrix, and jumping timelines. I hope to see you then. Until next time, I am wishing you a beautiful and blessed week. Take care.